Hi, I'm Tom Mealy. Welcome to another edition of the Long Island View.
And I am Tommy Marr. Welcome.
You know, we've had a pretty wild week.
You're not
And
kidding.
by the way, let me ask you a question. When we talked about what we were going to wear today,
We didn't.
I didn't know you were going to come as an undertaker.
I
What's
am
the
the
story?
Undertaker.
I mean, I feel
Well,
it's summer,
you're Elvis in Blue Hawaii,
right?
and I'm Johnny Cash. I guess.
But I like the jacket. The jacket looks good.
That's
The
my
boots
Maverick
don't too
Soul
bad.
jacket.
But we've had one heck of a week, and if you've been watching The View each week, you'll know that last week we had Donnie Most from Happy Days here, and so many interesting things that are happening with Donnie. And as you know, coming July 25th, we are going to be streaming our first ever pay-per-view, which will be streaming live from
Theater
Theater
3
3
in Port Jeff.
in Port Jeff. Now, you've been there a couple of times.
I performed there a few times.
Great theater.
Very nice.
You
Very
know,
nice.
there's plenty of seating, but you got to get online, folks, and get the tickets as soon as possible because they are selling out. We, just so you understand that we are waiting on the sale of the tickets before we actually introduce the link for the stream for the pay-per-view, which
Right.
is out of respect for Donnie Most, obviously.
And even if there's any clue of what's going to happen, we actually went and saw him last night at the Iridium in New York City.
Oh, what an
And
amazing thing!
You couldn't even get in the door.
It was amazing.
You couldn't get in the door. So I recommend that you do get your tickets, and it's going to be good.
Yeah, 25th, July 25th. Just get online and get them. I tell you, I never thought that this man can sing the way he sings.
Yeah, because he has a staple that a comedian, and you don't think of him as especially that swing kind of singer,
Yeah.
like Sinatra and Bing, Dino.
You wouldn't know. I mean,
Dino.
you're talking about Led Zeppelin. Then this is my thing here.
Hey, listen.
Let me say, Dino.
My father
All right.
that had that all. Believe me, I grew up with that stuff.
All right.
I have a lot of respect for it. I do. I enjoyed last night. I did.
Did you?
I did.
You know, he told us a funny story. You know, his first love was singing even before he was casted for Happy Days.
I think the weirdest story was his first singing lesson was in that building.
Was in yes,
Where
the
the
Iridium is. Yeah.
1350,
Yeah, that was
1650
pretty freaky.
Broadway.
He actually went up to Gary Marshall
Yeah, that was funny.
why they were filming Happy Days, and he asked Gary. He said he walked into his office and said, "Listen, can I sing?"
Well, he was looking for a singer.
Well, Gary Marshall
Right,
was looking for a
right,
singer,
right.
yeah, to bring on the show.
That was
because of
hilarious.
they had the clothes, they had the cars. It was the '50s, but they didn't have a group. And Donnie walked in there and said, "Gary, listen, I can sing." And he said something to him. What did he say?
He said, "Listen, if I had a show and I had two jugglers, what do I need the other guy for? I
didn't get that.
Because he has one. He doesn't need another
No,
one.
he had the other guy who played Potsy. What was his name? Hanson Williams.
Well, I don't think he was the singer that Gary Marshall had, was he?
He's the one who actually wound up
that's-
singing on the show.
Well, he said he didn't need two. Is
so
basically what
he was
telling
trying
me.
to say that the two of them were jugglers?
No, Gary
Was that an
Marshall was
insult?
saying he was trying to tell him, "I don't need two singers. I already have one." That's
Oh,
the
that's
point.
what he was trying to say?
Yes.
Oh, I
yes.
took it completely different. But then again, that's me.
Donnie, get
But-
back to us on that one.
But again, he's we had a great time. We went up to the deli up in Port Jefferson, Setauket, the Seaport Deli.
Right.
And if you know the name, the Seaport Deli, they just had all the media there for this new baseball player for the Mets. What's his name? I don't even know because I don't follow baseball.
He's
But do you
exploding.
remember what his name is? Jerry Parisi? You don't
honestly
remember?
don't.
All right, then shut up. Don't say another word. But anyway, this guy that just started playing for the Mets, evidently, who's been taking the ball field by storm, he used to go to this deli,
Yeah.
Seaport Deli in
I think he
Setauket.
worked there.
I don't know if he worked there, but I know he used to go there every day, and he used to order a sandwich, and he's a hometown boy, and I guess his first game out, 2 homers,
Yeah.
and struck out 10. Am I correct? Have I got that right? I'm pretty sure I do.
He wouldn't.
No?
I
No?
don't think he's pitching.
Mr. Harrison, what do we got?
I don't think
Stephen
he's.
Matz is his name.
Yeah.
Stephen Matz.
He's a pitcher.
Pitcher, he's not
He
a-
had 4 RBIs, I think,
Right.
or 4 hits and
Yeah.
2 RBIs,
And he-
something like that.
And he had
The
130
and the
family
second
members.
game, he in his first 2 appearances, he had the second most strikeouts ever by the first 2 starts for a rookie
Right.
for the Mets.
And that
And
was
he-
Brett Harrison, by the way, to make sure we don't do anything illegal. But
Yeah,
anyway,
put the disclaimer up.
Stephen Matz, that was his name, and they actually made a sandwich for
After
this kid.
His name.
So Donnie and I arrive in a 1923 tea bucket on Tuesday. What's today? Wednesday?
I don't know.
Monday. Maybe it was Monday. We arrive in this 1923 tea bucket. We're driving down Main Street in Setauket, and there was a big crowd out there, and we go walking in, and they actually made a sandwich. And what I found very funny about this whole thing is we're behind the counter, and the cameras are out there, and they're making the sandwich, and Donnie's reaching over, and he says, "Tom, I don't like peppers." And they're putting peppers on the sandwich. "Tom, are they putting cheese on? I don't like cheese." And they're putting cheese on the sandwich. So now they have this huge sandwich, and they bring it over to him, and I'm watching him,
He's
and he's
picking.
looking at me like to say, "What do I do with this thing?" And I'm saying, "Take a bite, take a bite,
I don't like
take a
peppers
bite."
either.
And he actually didn't take a bite. He just picked it up, and they called it the Double Don. But anyway, so that was our week right there.
And we did go to a very nice gathering after the show that
Oh.
we did Sunday too.
I finally found out how people like Brett Harrison live. All right, we were up on the North Shore. This house had to be worth $20 million.
I have no idea.
If it
The,
was
the
worth a
land was
nickel.
probably worth that.
And we had an opportunity to talk with the vice president of Fox 5, and there were some really great people
Yeah,
up
it's
there.
great. You know, some of the band members were
And
there.
that's where Donnie's staying. I don't understand why he didn't want to stay at my house.
You do now.
I do now. Okay, with that, we have an exciting guest here tonight, and we're going to introduce her as soon as we come back from a break. But before we go,
Breaks.
I want to tell you that
No
I
breaks.
screwed up, didn't I? All right, no breaks. I'm sorry, Cable. We're going to introduce this young woman today, and this is going more on the serious side. Enough about the fun that we had. Anytime we have an opportunity here on the Long Island View to meet or talk to somebody that has anything to do with charities, especially children and charities, we take it very seriously because it's very, very important. There's a lot of people out there on Long Island that are hungry. There's a lot of people out there on Long Island that don't have enough money for food. And unfortunately, a child truly doesn't have the ability to go out and get a job or make ends meet. So this particular organization steps in and makes it happen. So
I just love that. I mean, to me, these people are angels. The world needs so many more. I mean, we do a lot of benefits. We probably do 30 benefits a year. But children and veterans, that's right on the top of our list. So we're really pleased to have
would you like
here.
to introduce our guest?
I think that's your job.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Trisha from the Blessings in a Backpack organization. Trisha, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Blessings in a Backpack. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Food in a backpack for a child or for a family that can't afford to make ends meet this year. Well, in today's world.
The difference
Tell us
is-
about it.
Well, the difference is that we provide meals on the weekends. So throughout the day, a child will go to school, have lunch at school because the state provides that when you fill out whatever paperwork and you qualify for that. And then during the weekend, those same children don't have their needs met. So what we do is we try to help the children the families really that are falling through the cracks, and we do fundraising, we shop, we pack the backpacks, and we bring it to the children, the staff in the school, bring it to the children.
Trish, how do you decide who which kids?
Great
get-
question. It's actually a wellness committee within each school. So it's the nurses, the guidance counselors, the social workers, and the teachers aides, and the lunch people. They all know who is taking food and hoarding it, or they might be not eating all of
Right.
it, or, they just notice things. They notice things like when the children are not on top of their game on Monday morning.
So sad.
So,
Shouldn't be happening in this country.
yeah, and
Now, are the food that you deliver directly to the home?
no, it's not to the homes at all. It's at the school. So each Friday, these children that are identified will get a backpack with the items that are on the front of the table. There's about 8 items in each. We have bags that we pack them in ahead of time, and then they get distributed to the children.
That is so wonderful.
That's amazing.
That is
And
wonderful.
Did you come up with this? Is this your idea?
No, I wish I could take credit. It's amazing. It is a nationwide program. I'm not sure who actually came up with it. That fact escapes my brain right now, but we are in, I think, 38 states at this point,
Wow.
possibly more. And the difference with that is, even though it's nationwide, each group is autonomous. Each chapter does their own thing. So we have guidelines that we're asked to follow, but everything funnels through the national corporation. So I don't have to, as a volunteer, I don't have to figure out banking and those sorts of things, or how nonprofit works, or taxes, or that, any of the logistics of that stuff. All I have to do is fundraise and shop and pack. And of course, I can't do any of that by myself, so there's a team of us
That is
in our chapter that does that
Let
for
me
our
ask you,
district.
I just read this recently, within the last 2 or 3 days. I don't know if it's true. I wonder if it is. That I heard that they're trying to actually do away with the free meals at school for the.
I hadn't heard that, and that would be an absolute
Horror.
atrocity.
You know, I
Yeah.
got to tell you, I just want to mention this only because it still bothers me. Every 4th of July, it tortures me. You sit there, and like we were down in Rockaway, and we were watching the fireworks, I guess, from Joe's Beach, and I just see every one of these things go off, and I'm saying on an average, and I'm going low. They got to be $30 a pop. And I'm just saying to myself, just in this area that I can see, you could probably feed every kid in America for 10 years, for one night. You know, it's so,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah, it breaks down really simple,
It's-
Tommy. It takes $4. What you see on the table right there
Right.
is $4 worth of food. It feeds a child for an entire weekend. It's 6 meals and 2 snacks.
Maybe we should do something like that, though. No fireworks, put the money in for the kids.
That's $4 worth of food.
That's $4 worth
And that's a
of food.
weekend for a child.
An entire weekend. Yeah. So a $20 bill feeds a kid for a month on the weekends.
Do you get any feedback from the kids, like,
Yeah.
that take it home?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
maybe someone's
I
taking
get
it
choked
from
up
them?
really easily. What was the question?
Do you have any feedback from them, like, well, somebody takes it, like, maybe, is
Well-
they take it, or, did the older brother grab it,
Oh
or?
yeah, we don't have any kind of stories. The kids are they feel really cared for. They're
That's great.
excited to get the meals on the Friday. We've gotten some thank you notes, which is extremely touching. The reports from the teachers are probably the most amazing things. The kids show up ready to learn. They're bright-eyed. They're excited about school.
That's wonderful.
Instead of drag and tail, which could be, when you're a teacher, especially with the curriculum that they're faced with now, so much different than what was 20 years ago. So when you need a kid who's on top of their game, who's ready to learn, and they are, because they have nutrition. We don't have the top of the line nutrition, but we have things that are nutritionally based, and when we can sneak in some organic things and really healthy options for the kids, we do that too. Yeah.
Do you have any, now I know that this backpack is given out on a Friday because you have a list of children in certain schools that obviously that need it. Do you ever get any feedback or any ridicule or even praise from the parents?
No.
So a parent has never come up to you and said, I want to thank you for what you're doing?
No.
Do you think it has
We're
to do
not-
with embarrassment?
Yeah, and we have a thing in our program where there's an opt-out option, and you'd be amazed. So there'll be identified families, and then they'll get a note. We'd like, you've been selected, would you like to receive? And sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes the answer is no. And I don't understand that. Sometimes
do
it's a
I.
pride thing. It could very well be a
Yeah.
cultural thing sometimes, you know. We really don't know, so, but in terms of criticism, no. We have observations from other parents who are really, really thrilled that our team continues to shop and continues to fundraise
But
and
these
raise
are,
money and do
from the
these things.
parents that don't need it.
You're right, you're right. You know,
You know, I don't
Huh,
understand that,
it's
you
such
know,
a
I
tough
know
question.
that, I know there's, you know, people are sometimes embarrassed. I get it, I understand that. But this is an organization like the one you're with that, you know, that does for these kids without any question, without asking for anything in return. I don't know, Tommy, I mean, if it was me, I mean, I would, you know, I think I would be doing everything I can
She said the
now.
key word, I think pride
You think?
probably has a lot to do with it.
I also want to be clear. We're behind the scenes. They don't know where this is coming from.
Oh, they
just
don't?
know
Oh,
me
so then that
personally. I mean,
answers
if
the
some
question.
families know me personally,
But these
yeah,
kids are bringing this home.
they're bringing it home, but they don't know that, you know, there's a team of us. You know, we don't.
I
We're not
gotcha.
really kind of out in the open doing this. We are with the fundraisers, and I'm all over Facebook. We have a chapter, and we have a Facebook page, and all that stuff, and so people know of us in that regard. But yeah, you would be. I would think that people would maybe step forward and say, "Wow,
Say
this is
thanks.
great, thank you." And you know, that's not why we do it at all. I'm just grateful that I get the reports about the kids. It matters
Well, you
to
know
the
in your
kids,
soul
you
that-
Now,
know?
do you,
Yeah.
you're constantly, obviously, going to all of these schools, there's a lot of schools on Long Island.
Well, you know, we are, right now, we're focused on our district, and our hope is to expand. So we're in the Longwood district, and,
Longwood, now that is out Center Reach?
no,
Sylvan?
it's Yaphank,
Okay.
Coram,
Right.
Middle Island. It's 52 square miles. So we have 7 schools in our district that go K through 12.
Are you looking to set up organizations in other districts like Bay Shore,
Yeah,
Brentwood?
if I
area?
can, there's 9,200 students in the Longwood district. If I can satiate 5% of that, I'd be really happy, and then I would love to expand, you know, and a lot of it has to do with fundraising. As my needs are met and that district gets met, then I can expand to a secondary district.
What did you say at the beginning of the show, the 38 states? Is this in 38 states?
Oh, yeah, this
The
is the
program
nation.
itself
Right.
Yeah,
is-
So, I
Blessings in
mean-
a Backpack, yeah,
Right.
and then we.
So, are the other towns on Long Island also getting this too?
No, it takes
just-
people, like program coordinators like
So
myself.
you're the
to-
only ones on Long Island, in the Longwood
No,
districts?
No, there are 2 other chapters that I'm aware of. One is in the Dix Hills area, and one is, I know, in the
Who would
West
think?
Hampton Beach area.
I'm sorry, Huntington Beach?
West Hampton Beach.
West Hampton?
West Hampton.
Hampton Beach.
Dix Hills
No,
and
isn't-
West Hampton
But that's,
Beach.
that's more exclusive.
That's what I'm saying. I would think more like, you
Okay,
know.
I would think
well,
more
I don't-
Brentwood, Bay
There's
Shore.
hungry
Wine
children.
dance.
There's hungry children everywhere.
You know what,
And what it does
you're
take,
probably
what
right.
it does
You're
take is it
probably
Well,
just
I
takes
don't know.
committed
You live in
volunteers
Dix
to
Hills
show up
and-
and do the work.
West
You're
Hampton.
probably right. You know, there's, it's just amazing what you folks do, because I gotta tell you, you know, to step up like that and to have your organization do this, these are all volunteers.
Yeah,
And the food, I mean, the food looks great.
yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
not bad, and, you know, and I'll tell you something else, you know what? I mean, they're not getting greasy hamburgers
Right,
and,
right.
and junk food. I mean, this is healthy
Yeah.
food for them.
It's $150 for a school year to feed a child on the weekends. That's it.
See, I'm also wondering,
$150.
$150.
Now, let's talk
We
about
do
fundraising.
budget, and we work
I
hard
can
to
see
keep it that low.
Let's talk about fundraising. You fundraise throughout the year.
Yeah.
And you raise money.
Yes.
It goes into, obviously, it's a 501c3, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And that money is that constantly being regenerated? I mean, what do you do to actually do the fundraising? Do you knock on doors? What do you do?
Beg, borrow, and steal, pretty much. We've done variety night fundraisers where we, go to a local caterers and we put a big party on. I sew pillows, so I've sewn pillows and gone into a salon and done some private fundraising that way.
You sew pillows and then
Yeah.
sell them, and then that money goes
Yeah,
into
that was a
this.
personal fundraiser that I did. I raised close to
Where's your
$1,000. It's personal, Tom. It's
Where is
personal.
it- why
I
is
came
it
from a
personal?
house that didn't have a lot.
Is that why?
Yeah, it's personal. Yeah, I came from a house that was scarce.
Me too.
You know, and
Me
so
too.
for me, I'm not in that place anymore. You know, so for me to be able to give back, if there was somebody who could have said, "You matter," when I was 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, I maybe wouldn't have had to fight so hard through high school. You know,
That's
so
cool.
I want to make a
sitting
difference.
here, I'm blown away when you said the pillows. Out of everything we
Yeah.
talked about, I visualize you sitting
They're
at home,
relaxing.
sewing these pillows
Yeah,
at
I
90
love it.
miles an hour,
It's a craft,
bringing them,
yeah.
It makes her
selling
soul
them,
feel
and then
good.
taking that money and putting it into
Because it
something
makes her,
like this.
she knows, she's
Where's your,
she's
where's
a
your
shaman.
halo? I'm going to say that. That is absolutely amazing. And how many are you in this organization right now out east? Is how many?
How many children do
How,
we serve?
no, how many people are with you?
Oh,
out
right
east?
now, I have about 12 volunteers that work with me. And we serve about 150 kids a week.
Has News 12 ever picked up on this?
I would really love for News 12 to pick up
You
on
have
this.
got to
Well,
be
now
kidding
you're with the
me.
big boys
Hey,
anyway.
listen, I'm not saying News 12. You know why? We have an exclusive
We're around the
here.
world right
All right,
now.
but you know what, people? This is an organization that you need to help get the word out. There's hungry kids out there that need people like this, and you need to make it happen.
And another thing, we are right now live in 204 countries, and even you people that are in other countries that have a good heart and a good soul that want to help some kids, you can send some money over. I mean,
Let's talk about how we can send money to you. Because
Sure.
if they're listening right now, this is going to
Sure.
air a few times. People want to send, you know, I've always said $1 goes a long way. You're saying that this is $4 worth of food here. $20 feeds how many?
A kid for a month for the weekends.
For a month,
full week.
$20.
Yeah.
So you can actually adopt a kid for a year for $150.
Yeah, yes.
There's a good angle.
Yeah, yeah, and it's one we use when we do
All
our
right, so-
fundraising.
so right
People-
now, I want you to dig-
Business owners are very generous, and they'll adopt 5 kids.
I
That's
need you to
great.
dig into
Yeah.
your pockets, people, deep. All right, because the change, how do they send the money to you?
We have a P.O. box, and they would write their check.
Right into that camera right there, and you tell them
Okay.
how they can do it.
A P.O. box in Yaphank, so it's P.O. Box 27, Yaphank, New York, 11980. Make the check out to Blessings in a Backpack. In the memo section, if you would be so kind as to put Longwood, CSD, it'll be allocated to our account.
There you go. That's great. That's great. That's
I
amazing.
just,
Absolutely amazing
I love
stuff.
people like you. I mean, we do it too. We know the feeling that
Yeah.
it makes you feel like you have a purpose in life.
There are food pantries on Long Island. I can't obviously mention the name of the food pantries, but there are several of them on Long Island. Do they help you?
You know, I wish that they were able to, but they're resourced elsewhere right now. So
Have you approached them?
A couple of them, yeah. So it just doesn't work out to be the best fit. You know, we did approach some wholesalers, and believe it or not, Sam's prices are better. So we just stick with shopping at Sam's. We put in our order, and they have a really neat system.
Do they
now.
work with you?
No, not at all. I paid for my night.
Sam, what's up?
Yeah, you know, they were generous when we needed a basket. They did provide a basket for our fundraiser. So, yeah, it's you know, there's a lot of people with a lot of different causes. So I never want to come off judgmental. There's so many people that need help, and people you go where your heart is. You know, so not everybody sees the sense in this.
Let me ask you something.
as
You
I
have,
do.
you have, I don't know, 6 or 7 items here at least. Couldn't you go directly to these, like was that Kraft's macaroni
Yeah,
or something,
we're
and say,
working on it.
come on, guys,
Yeah.
you know,
The
send
national
us.
actually is, has partnered up, I guess is the best language to use, with several of the, the website you saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, the national corporation has partnered up with several, and they, I'm not exactly sure how that works. Being on Long Island, we have a different challenge because crossing the bridges incurs another expense.
So I would think Kraft or Campbell's
Yeah,
Soup
we're
or
working
all
on
of-
it. I have one of my
would think they would
volunteers
gladly
writing
do
letters
that.
right now,
Do
so,
you know,
yeah.
and I don't know if you know this, but in a supermarket, if they get indented cans, they usually don't put them out on the shelf. Did you know that?
Yes.
Do you know what they do with the dented cans?
No,
They throw them away.
okay.
So I don't know if that's an angle, but there's a lot of supermarkets in King Cullen. Is King Cullen still? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's still.
Oh, yeah.
King Cullen, Stop and Shop. I know King Cullen is privately owned. But, and their offices are located in Central Islip or Islip, right off, I think near
Yeah.
Carlton Avenue, Suffolk Avenue. And if you, and I don't know if you can do this, and I'm not, obviously I'm not speaking for King Cullen, but, you know, I know that years ago, I used to work for King Cullen, and I used to package stuff that went to the stores. And they always told me that if the can is dented, all right, it goes in this bin, and that bin went into the crusher. And they didn't send out the dented can. I wonder if this, to this day, if they still do it, because
I'm sure they
what
do.
would happen, I mean, I guess from a business point of view, is if you went there and you took the, I mean, you don't care if it's a dented can.
Right, it wouldn't matter to us if it was a
I
dented
mean, but that
can.
may be an avenue to look into.
Yeah, I can certainly explore it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Anything else, Thomas?
I will go on, I will go on record and just say, if I could help you, I mean, first of all, Tom and I and Vicky and Janine will gladly do anything we can for you,
Thank
because
you.
we're there anytime for
Thank you
kids that we
very
can do.
much.
But I also will go above and say, if you ever want to do a fundraiser and you need a band, I will personally, whether they like it or not, I'll tell you my band will play for you, and we'll raise some
Have I
money
got a
for you.
date for you?
Yeah, no, we
Thanks so much
try
for
to, we
that.
try to do as much as we can. Your website, what is your website? Because I see they're screaming at us
Yes,
out there
yes,
to do
yes.
the website.
Okay, so it's www.blessingsinthebackpack.org.
Very simple.
National.
Blessings in a backpack.
Yeah.
Forget the www, you don't need it
Yeah.
anymore.
Oh, excuse me.
All right, just
Old school.
blessingsinAbackpack.org.
Right.
You
And
don't have
then-
a .com.
No, no.
Okay.
And then they would look if they want to donate to us or find out about us. We also have a Facebook page. So it's just Blessings in a Backpack, Longwood CSD.
And remember, $150, you sponsor a kid to eat for a whole year.
Every weekend.
That's great.
That's wild.
That's great.
Well, listen, we want to thank you so much for coming on the
You guys
show
are awesome.
today.
Thank you so
Anything
much.
else that you you have something over here. What is this, real
But
quick?
it's just basically the details that we've already discussed, how much it costs per week, $20, and then how it's completely, everything is a business write-off, everything is tax deductible, so
Do you give
know,
the tax
yeah.
deduction? I mean, do you send out a
I
receipt for
personally,
that?
I personally write a thank you note to everybody, and then corporate sends out their tax deductible
So you
receipts.
have to let corporate know that you did
Yeah.
receive that check, and
Yeah,
then
oh
they'll
yeah,
send out the
everything gets
receipt.
funneled through
Where
corporate.
is the corporate office?
Kentucky,
Kentucky.
yeah. Louisville,
And how long you been doing this now?
close to 2 years,
Wow, that's
yeah.
amazing.
And we've raised about $25,000, so
In
we've.
2 years.
Well, we
In 2
hope we can
years.
up the ante. for
Anything
you.
that we can do
That'd be
here
great.
at the studio to help you raise anything,
This
I
is
think
wonderful.
that
This is
the
wonderful
cause
exposure, and I
is-
appreciate the opportunity.
is tremendous. And, I want to thank Cable 20 for allowing us to air this, and I hope that people from Montauk to Manhattan get a chance to see it,
That'd be
and
great.
they get on your website. It's a very, very easy website, Blessings in a Backpack, and it certainly is a blessing in a backpack.
Yeah.
Just a quick story before we go off, because I remember, and I'm sure as you, growing up, that we didn't have, we didn't need blessings in a backpack, but we were very, very poor people. And I remember, friends of mine growing up that didn't have any money, and back then they didn't have this. And I remember having to have them come over to our house, and my mother used to always say, listen, if I can feed 6, I can feed 7.
Right.
There was 4 of us and 2 adults, and she used to do that. And, even myself, a story, I remember, years ago, I always wasn't fortunate, I remember sleeping in a car in a rest area, and I didn't have any food. And I know what it's like not to be able to eat. I can only imagine what it's like for a child
For a kid.
to go hungry, and there's nothing in the house, or you can't get anything from anywhere. So
Yeah,
the
and
word
you don't
blessings
see
is
that
definitely
either.
that.
You don't see it.
I
It's
mean, you
very
have how
sad.
many grandchildren? Could you imagine those grandchildren going hungry?
I've seen a lot. I mean, like yourself, we lived on the top of an antique store with 6 people with a 1-bedroom, and trust me, and they made it work, but it was a different time. There was a lot more of these people around that cared, There was, the churches, they were abundant with people, not as 20 people at a church, 10 people. It's a different world. What we need, I think, is, I believe that there's so many people that have so much money. $150 a year for a kid. Come on, all you big cats out there, you deep pocket guys, you know.
Yeah.
Longwood.
We got
So
about
we're
10
long way.
seconds left, so I want to thank Trish very much for coming out there.
Thank you,
And people,
everybody.
please, give them a call, get onto the website. I'm sure that one of you out there, or not many of you out there, know somebody who has a child that goes hungry on the weekends, and here's your blessing right now, and it comes in a backpack. So give them a call, log on to their website, blessinginAbackpack.org. We will see you next week, same time, same place. Don't forget the Donnie Most concert, July 25th. Thomas, say anything?
I just want to thank you so much for the soul that you bring to the world, and you will. There's a good place waiting for you somewhere.
Have a wonderful night. Peace.
Thank you.
Take care.